It's hot, Nala? Okay. Let me show you what Nala's so excited about. Hey, look. She got turkey, bacon, pancake, eggs. Let me give it to her. I was just, all right. I was trying to show them your breakfast. As you can see, she really liked this breakfast. So now Nala's eating. Okay. Hold on. Give you time to come in the room. I know it's early. Shout out to the replay crew. Hey, hold on a second. Let me get her juice and stuff. Take that orange. Okay, now sit down and eat. Stop all of that. What is it? Yeah. Wouldn't even let me show you your food. Anyway. I just watched a great video. I shared it on my wall. See, like I told you, I love being around women older than me, younger than me, especially black women. They experience when they real, because real gonna always recognize real. You know what I'm saying? But today we want to talk about some self-serving messages of truth and how effective or ineffective they can be. Hi, J Truth. How you doing? It's a lady on the I just share her. She's really, really good. I love her. On point. Older lady. So on point. Well traveled, well educated, and petty as hell. Love it. So hold on. Set myself up. So I don't know if anybody got to see that live yesterday with on Poverty's channel about. I'm be honest with you, I still haven't watched the whole live. I came in when this girl was up there trying to talk about how Africa is so much better, but she's here. I'm good, Jimmy J. I hope you're doing well. I'm glad to see you doing well. Just gave my little wrecking ball her little breakfast. I was trying to show y'all her turkey, bacon, pancakes, and blueberries, but she wasn't having it. She's trying to snatch the plate away. I probably got to see a little glimpse. So yeah, I woke up this morning. Like I told you, I feel like I get signs from my ancestors. So like I said, I was on Poverty Live, and I didn't see the whole live. I did wind up getting to see a clip. I think Stop Lying TV and Something Sweet in Them. They put up clips about when I guess Ronnie Q was dragging Brianna and all of them about having Nina up there or whatever. So I didn't see that whole clip. I only see. Thank you. So when I'm listening to the live, because normally it passed by, because like I told you, if somebody come on my across my timeline that I normally don't watch, or autocorrect go to a live I normally don't watch, I feel like that's my ancestors telling me to watch and listen. She basically did say that. She said that Africa wasn't slaves, and that's true. Y'all still enslaved right now. But I'm gonna get to it, Nina. Hold on. So, like I stated, I didn't see the whole thing. I came in on that part where that girl was up there saying, her spiel about she came from lawyers and doctors, blah 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 blah, and there's no slaves in Africa, and her experiences that she was treated so wrong, and blah 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 blah. So I came up there, I'm like, wait a minute, they don't see all these things. And mind you, I don't know if y'all know, that same girl be down here, down talking Haitian people. So all them Haiti people that was trying to be a part of some dysphoria clique, she constantly speaks down on Haiti people, talking about y'all eat mud pies and all of that. Like, this girl is really weird. But anyway, and I got the screenshots if she want to lie about it. That was when I was cool with Ness. I don't really care about her saying that. Well, I do care because I like Cassie and Voodoo, but she was referring to Ness when she said it, though. Just for the record, but she did not sit here and say Ness. She said them Haitians, but she was referring to Ness when she said it. But she damn sure made a blanket statement. So anyway, I was like I said, I came across a live and I didn't like that. So I said what I had to say on the panel, but it was like, should I go live about this situation, considering this is the B sector and the amount of knowledge about the subject or whatever the case may be. So then I woke up this morning and I seen that video. So I was like, yeah, this is my sign to get into it. Because Black women, this is what y'all need to do. Hey, Joy Queen. And good morning, Nina. Yeah, we know we heard what happened. But see, I'm gonna say this: black women, because we are the heads of the black community. You know what I'm saying? We're the ones holding it down. We're the ones creating space, because we already know when black men open up the black community, not it's the black women that are white adjacent or white. So they're not going to be over here trying to plead Captain Save a Ho to no African or any other women that look like us, because they have colorism issues. You know what I'm saying? So good morning, where me. So black women, we're the ones that's being invited. We're the ones that's accepting and in into our home and culture, letting them eat off our plate while they try to look down on us, which is weird. Because Nala, go eat, go finish eating, okay? So like I said, she came in saying there's no enslavement in Africa. That's not true. They are still being enslaved in Africa to this day. And I just learned out there's a war on the horizon. There's a war on the horizon, because they finna come take their minerals and land again. And so I think it's in Nigeria or something. I'm not sure. I just saw the video, so don't quote me. Because like I said, I don't follow in Africa politics because I'm not African. And the Africans show that they're not, like when they come to, I know at least when they come to New York, they will click up a business with a Hispanic or white person before they ever do black people. And that's weird to me. Good morning, Trini. So like I said, she came up on the live saying that there's no enslavement in Africa. There's literally about to be a war right now where they could be enslaved. They literally have children over there mining diamonds. How is that not enslavement? Why are you upset with me, Trini? You don't think it's wrong? This is what I want to get clear. Like, how do y'all feel like y'all can have unity, but black women can't? There's no reason to be upset. I'm never upset when I see y'all have unity with each other. I think it's a beautiful thing, and I always encourage people to do that. That's why this live was like this morning. I want black women to have more of a unity with each other before y'all can outsource it out, because the girl came up there being very disrespectful to our culture. And it's not like that's like me going over to Trini and not respecting y'all laws of the land, and then instead of everybody telling me the truth, we're like, we got the right to come over to your shit and disrespect your house. That's not how it works. You won't let nobody come in your personal house disrespecting it. So like that's a simple logic. Exactly. Thank you, J. True. That's why I said let me come on my live, because it's not like it's not like she has some type of it. And the person you were getting upset about, she probably would say something about your country. But I only seen her say something about Hades. But like I said, she came up on a panel trying to center herself as some type of elitist, when in fact she sat up here representing most of the negative stereotypes about black women, teenage pregnancy. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad she didn't let that prevent her from succeeding in life. But she obviously didn't do it the right way, because she's mentally damaged and blaming it on the wrong goddamn people. Good morning, Brianna. Good morning, Voodoo. Yeah, Voodoo, you was in it definite talking. She said Hades eat mud pies. That's what she think about Haitians. While she wants somebody to be so all up in arms about Africa. And they're not even up in arms about it. Like if you notice on that video, the black people, and she made a great point. The same point I made. That's why I said great minds think alike. It was a bunch of African guys. They're not in Africa. They done got permission from some white man to be living in their femininity in their country. And when they get to live in their femininity, what do? Sit around and talk about what black Americans got going on, not knowing the right. They whole freedom of speech come from black women putting in black men and women putting in work, but especially these days, black women. And no other country came and helped us. No island, no Africans came together and said, let's support our black American brothers and sisters. No. But when we finished the war by ourselves, everybody came with their hands out. I understand that, black American. I do think there's a difference. There is a difference. That's what I'm trying to say. We're black Americans. She want to keep calling us Africa. We're not African. We're American. This is our country. We don't have to apply for citizenship. We don't have to get a passport to be here. So we're Americans. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, the guys were in the video shared on my wall. I'm just paraphrasing. I just saw it. So the guys was over there. They just came. I don't know what country they're in, but they was talking about Black Americans, how they got white names. And if you notice, that's what she was implying. Her name can't be Keisha because she got African pride. And like the lady stated in the video, they brag about things that's not important to us. I don't think they realize that. You know what I'm saying? Having an African name doesn't mean nothing to us. And then the ones that do, they let you know that. And we got some we got some Black people who want to be Pan African. But eventually, once they see what's going on, they eventually leave. That's why I always wonder why the Pan American thing didn't spread. But when you get into it, you'll find out why. Yeah, I will. Good morning, chat rap, Molly. So yeah. So like I said, the lady says they're over there, right? And it's similar. It's like I said, they all have the similar arguments. And mind you, this video was just put up 12 hours ago. Y'all know I said this way before this video came out. So it's not like I was copying her talking place or anything like that. So she was like, the men over there were talking, they were making fun of Black people not having their not knowing their culture, their name. They knew their real name. We got white people names and stuff like that. Once again, they're doing this in a country where Black people have fought for their own civil rights. And they are fleeing the country because they couldn't fight for their own. Now, like the lady pointed out, like the lady pointed out in the video, their country is about to go to war. They need as many strong, proud, able-bodied men as they can. But instead of coming to the aid of their country, like our ancestors did, they flee and coming over here talking about the ones that fought, stood 10 toes down to this day. Do we have a lot of things to work on in the Black community? Absolutely. But one thing we did do is pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. We're not trying to run back to Africa or any other country. We made our own homeland, and we made it so good. Everybody from all over wants to come. We made the living so good here, and we was under attack by the same people that you were. But instead of fighting back, you rolled over. So now Chinaman is picking up where the white man left off. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I need you to get to understand. So people are going to be offensive. You know, now we may see, like I said, we may see flaws, but if we don't want to get into comparing flaws, because like I stated, while we do have a problem here with men and underage girls, it's legal where you're from. It's legal. In the Caribbeans, I think grown men can start sleeping with girls when they 15, 16. Africa is even younger than that. Africa also has a problem with, you know, SA babies thinking to cure AIDS. Africa also has a problem with people that's born as a albino. They try to take them off this world too. Like, y'all have a lot of self-hate and self-problem. I feel like it's on an even dangerous level, because y'all are literally living in slavery. Y'all are literally getting slave wages, if that. Exactly. And we see what's going on. Yeah, they can try, but they ain't. It's legal in certain places, though. That's what I'm trying to say. And I'm gonna need Africa leaders to be as proud as they people, because they're the one that's selling y'all out for their personal family riches. So if y'all own African leaders won't get it together on behalf of their country, why are y'all coming here talking to us? Because our African leaders over here, let them get out of pocket. They're gonna be all type of coons. They're gonna be blasted. All like we're getting their ass out of office. You know what I'm saying? Well, we got to do it physically or legally. It doesn't matter. They getting the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? And they know this. Y'all turn around, they do y'all dirty, and then they got people to kill y'all for even speaking up for yourself. That's why y'all over here, because y'all love that freedom of speech, so you could talk shit about us. When you can't even talk shit about the wrongdoings to your mother and grandmothers in your own country. That's crazy. And then you got the nerve to look down and say there's no slavery. Y'all, Africa is the richest country, and y'all own none of it. None. It was this one guy in my Facebook group, but I had to want to keep kicking him out. Not because I didn't mind his debating, but like I tell you, that was that girl. But anyway, he claims that, I forgot. Oh my God, I don't know how I could fit. He told me only every day, but he claimed he's from the only African country that own their own land. I never heard of it, but he claimed there is at least one. Exactly. Africans have never did anything to stand on the side of Black American. Black Americans never had any friends ever. There was never a time in history, but people always using us. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. A lot of they're taking a lot of benefits away, and then like bragging on benefits that we can't get because they're coming over here doing it because people feel sorry because they come from a refugee country, and they like they said because we was born here. Is it our fault that our ancestors paved the way so we wouldn't have to go through what they went through? Isn't that the purpose of a community, to build it up for the next generation to have better? So y'all over here because we did that. And instead of doing that for y'all own people that y'all so proud of, y'all flee over here and try to take from our kids out. When we fought for our kids, go fight for your kids. And if you're not going to do that, come in as humbly as possible. Nobody's judging you. You don't have to fight. You could take the easy way out, but you can't come over here talking because that means you're a self-serving messenger of truth. Because if you was that proud, you would be over there. That's the people I big up in Africa, the ones that stayed in the fight and over there trying to make a difference for their people. That's who I personally acknowledge. I don't care if they're from the islands or Haiti or wherever they're from. I respect those people for standing up and fighting for what was right for theirs. You know what I'm saying? Just like I respect people, they want to come here, get the money to send back to their country to make it better. That's cool too. But recognize who gave you that opportunity. It wasn't the white man y'all covered so dearly. It was black people. White people wasn't trying to give us shit. They could care even less about you. They only give y'all extra, they only take away our benefits for y'all for spite. You know what I'm saying? Not because they like you better or think you're a better version of black. Just so you know. Because if they thought you was so much better, they wouldn't do your country size like that. That's what I'm saying. So I wanted to get that part out real quick, and I'm gonna drop the link, and I want everybody to keep it respectful, no yelling, no, none of that, because I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just stating facts of the matter. Is not my opinion. Everything I stated was a fact. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna drop the link because I was just like, this is crazy, and to me that was a sign when I seen that video this morning. I tagged Nina in it so she can give it to that girl. Um, yeah, y'all all talk the same. So this is why y'all get that the reaction. No matter if you're in Washington D.C. or New York, Chicago, L.A., you're gonna get that response because we see you and we see what you do when you get over here and who you align yourself with. But the minute you get in trouble, y'all running back to the black community. But when the black community drop off their support, who you think is gonna help you? You can't keep talking. You can't keep biting the hand that feeds you. Good morning, Nina.
Good morning. How are you,
Mm-hmm.
sweetheart?
Mm-hmm. I'm great. You?
Well, I'm good. I'm good. I was listening to you. I think this is a good topic.
Me too.
Let's try our best to stay on code because the issue is anti-blackness,
Right.
um,
I agree.
and hate against women and colorism. For me, at least, it is
It,
not
it
so
is for
much.
me too. And I've
Okay.
always, I never veered from that. But go ahead.
So I think there was a misunderstanding between you and Sista. I think there is. Of course, I can't completely, but I didn't hear her say that Africa was better. I didn't hear any of that at all any point in her conversation. And I also didn't, when she said that she doesn't come from slavery, I understood that she meant chattel slavery, right? I don't think that any African is going to deny colonialism in Africa, colonization, neo colonialism now, the horrors that are going on in Africa. No, I mean, no reasonable person is going to deny that there are horrors going on in Africa. In fact, I was talking to um, Ronnie Q when I was. This is when I was trying to explain so that she could hear me instead of arguing with her. When before she goes into her rants, I try to explain to her that sometimes when you come from war, you may not be impacted the same way from a riot, right? So that right there is saying, hey, look, there's major shit going on elsewhere in the world. This country may not be the worst of it all, right? It's not the worst, it's not the best, it's just a country. So I'm not quite sure. And the elitism that you were talking about with Sista, that maybe she was elitist. You know what? To be honest with you, if I consider what she said she was in her 40s. She said she came here when she was 2. So that means that she came into the United States when she was in the early 80s. For an African family to be able to afford the airfare, the immigration issues, the whatever, to immigrate to the United States in the 1980s, they kind of had to be uh, from an elite family. To This is just the truth. So I do believe that she probably comes from a family of doctors and lawyers. So that's probably just her truth. So I'm not quite sure where it went wrong with you and her.
Well, like I stated, she said that if to me, affording airfare is not really a flex like that. But I get it. But we have
It
to look at.
is. It kind of is. I mean, imagine most people don't travel internationally, and then to move your entire family from one continent to another, that I mean, and to get out of this horror place that is Africa, that's everybody seems to want to make sure to point out. And believe me, there are amazing places in Africa too. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but like
yeah,
I
it
said,
takes some money. It takes
but
some
it may not be
connection.
too many because of how many need to come over here. But they can make. I'm not saying Africa doesn't have beautiful land and beautiful sites, but the thing is, there's no rights for them. The people everybody benefited, but Africans. So when you come to a place where Black people fought for their rights, and went through hell to get to where we are today, only to have somebody who did not even fight for their own rights. And like I said, there was chattel slavery in Africa. There's two different types of slavery, and there is chattel slavery in Africa. She can
No,
say her.
chattel slavery was here. There was slavery in Africa. There was colonialism in Africa. There was atrocities, cutting off of arms, horrible things. Like I mean, we can compare traumas or whatever,
No,
but
I'm not
yeah,
trying to
it
compare
was.
traumas. I'm trying to say we can't compare to y'all traumas because we fought back. Y'all still haven't reached that point yet. So there's no real
Well,
comparison.
okay, so I'm gonna have to stop there because in the 60s there was mass independence. So yes, there was fighting back. That's why it's no longer under, it's neo-colonialism, which is like proxy colonialism, where people use your, resources, but there was fighting back. There was fighting back with all the West African countries, Central African countries. There is one particular country that has never been colonized. So yes, there was
Hey,
definitely
what
fighting
country
back.
that might bring it back to mind? Because I had a friend of mine. He came to Africa when he was little too. He said that his country was the only one that never was. So what's the name of it? Maybe you might join me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't want to give out too many details. Well, there's an East African country that has never been colonized. Liberia wasn't colonized either, but Liberia is more of an American colony because what they wanted to do is take African American enslaved people and repatriate them um, to Liberia. So I wouldn't. They say Liberia wasn't colonized either, but I really don't go for that. But there is one particular country that has never been colonized in East Africa. But point being, leave that out. I'm talking about the entirety of Africa
Right.
fighting for independence and being independent or a faux independent and still fighting, just like Americans here are fighting. So
Yeah,
we're
and
all
making
fighting.
progress. We're all fighting, but we're the ones that's making the okay. We're the one that's making the most progress due to the influx of everybody trying to come over here. You know what I'm saying? After Black people get certain rights, it seems like every time we get the rights up, more and more people of color and Black people from diaspora come over here with their hands out. But has there any what allies have Africans been to Black Americans? While they so worried about what we ain't did, but they always come up here using up the stuff we did get, the little bit we did, achievements we did meet. What allies have Africans been to Black Americans? Like, what did they do from their point to help us?
I think helping one another would be the case, but to help you particularly to do
Not
what?
me. I'm
Were
talking
there
about Black Americans. Yeah, not me. You know what I'm saying? Like in general.
Are there not Africans in the streets with George Floyd? Are there not Africans that, you know, work with you and go to school with you, and
No,
Africans
no,
suing the government
that
when there's
no.
discrimination?
The government of Africa, the countries in Africa, what have they joined together as a collective to help us here? Because we have helped them with plenty over here. You know what I'm saying? And
You
then
do understand that there are countries in Africa that are offering visas, asking people to come home if they want to. There was the year of return in Ghana a couple years ago. I think there's another African country that I don't know if it's Kenya or, that is offering, you know, either free or discounted visas. They literally
yeah,
have come and said that
yeah,
your visa is your blood, is your melanin. Come home. People
yeah,
have
but
said.
then a lot of black, but I don't know if you've seen, because I did know about that. Like I said, I used to be a part of a Pan African group. Yeah, I think it's or Pan African or whatever. That's basically what it's a coalition of all black people from diaspora in here, and a lot of people who went over there and took them up. They have made videos. Some of them on YouTube. It was a lot of big Facebook discussion how Africans would basically rob them when it comes to like home repairs, taxi, buying food. They was basically being robbed blind by the locals. So it wasn't even a benefit. It was like a scam to get them over there, to scam them from their American worldly possessions. And they had to come back home worse off than when they
Has
left
it
off.
has a majority of it been a bad experience for African Americans, or are there African Americans that are living happily in Africa and
Majority,
feel welcomed?
I would say out of 100%, let me see, I guess maybe 60-40, because, and then that's only because a lot of black people rather just get done wrong by, I think, and then out of the 40% that stayed there, I feel like the sentiments, they rather get done dirty by their own people than have to deal with whatever they have to go through in America.
Okay, I can say this also, right? And this is not to bring down people who go to Africa, but there's a sense of mm, there's also an issue of Black Americans who take advantage of Africans because they do have money and they become the new oppressor when they go back. Even with Liberia, you can see the difference between the repatriated and the indigenous people. There's an issue on both sides with this.
But what I'm trying to tell you is that Africans have never done anything for us. They come and got benefits. We can't go to Africa and get anything. They have nothing to offer us. So when you come over here and start acting like we should be jealous of things that y'all can't even do for yourself, it's kind of weird. So do you understand like the logic behind what I'm saying? Um, of them offerings for somebody to go back. What I'm talking about, have they? Africa doesn't have its own military. Have they ever sent any troops when black people was fighting? Only Chinamen sent troops, didn't they? The Africans sending these
There's
soldiers over
many
here.
African militaries throughout the whole 54 countries. There's
Yeah,
militaries
but
in.
were any of them sent to America to help their brothers and sisters fight?
Okay, you understand that they're fighting their own battles as well, right? Like
Exactly.
it's not.
Wow, I get it, but it's like, do they get it? You know what I'm saying? Because when they come over here, we're still fighting our battles. But whatever battles we
Right,
want
but
is
you're not just fighting your battles. The melanin in your skin, when once you enter this country, makes you a Black person. So we're all fighting the same it's not the same battle because we don't have the same history and the same traumas. So we're navigating differently, but we're branches from the same tree. So we are getting the discrimination. We are also everybody's getting discriminated against.
yeah, but why pile on to the so why are Africans piling on to the only group of people that gave them an option that they couldn't give themselves? That's where I
Are
feel
they
like we're trying
piling on?
Yes,
How?
like I said, because she came up there stating, like I said, she came up there stating that she comes from this elitist family and she went to the ghetto girl school, and it's a common knowledge. Africans come down, and not just Africans, but being that that was the topic at hand. But I understand this goes for a lot of black people with dysphoria, but being that that's where you're from and that's what the girl was talking about. So I'm not just
Okay.
saying this is
Okay.
African.
Okay. So let me go back to her experience because it's a good case study, right? So
Mhm.
we know a person, she's come and let she prob 100%, if she came here in the 1980s and her family was able to come to the United States, go through the process of coming to the United States, have the
But Nina,
resources
you're going
and the
off for her like
connection.
her word is, but Nina, you're going like her word is Bible. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of Africans that claim they so uppity, but when you see them, you'll see them same ones in the welfare center. A lot of them women are working two and
Oh,
three
heck
jobs,
yeah. Oh,
and they
honey,
man just got one,
absolutely. The
and it's
Africans
remedial.
will motherfucking use every resource available. Every freaking resource. You can have $100,000,
Yeah, so she
from
could have
your
came over
corner
here paid
store,
by the
and you
state.
will still use whatever government or subsidy or whatever. And I think everybody should use that. That
I agree too, but like I said, but I feel like the ones who got first right is the ones that ancestors fought for it. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm
and
saying to
and
you
they
is this.
should be taking advantage of it too. This is,
Well, it's
look,
hard for us when everybody put their hand in the pot first. You know what I'm saying? But what I want to say is this: we don't know for sure her family was funded over here. She could have came as a refugee.
yes,
Anybody could be.
the likelihood, and this is why I specifically say the 1980s, right? Like
Mhm.
the United States really didn't accept refugees, African refugees, en masse until, I want to say, like the late 80s, 90s, and not very much either. Most of the there was a lottery system that came in the late 90s, and even then you still had to have family or a sponsor or something. You had to have connections. The people that are actually poor in Africa are in Africa. If the people who are here, especially the ones that came in the 70s, 80s, either they came here for education or they had the resources to do so. So with her story, it makes sense to me. So
Well,
and her saying, hold on, but her saying her background, how does that, I mean, it's just her background. It is what it is. Like,
no, but we don't know that to be true. Like I said, I've seen her in the chat talk about how Hades eat mud pies, only to find out she
wait, she said that?
yes, and not in that particular chat, but she has said it before, and I got the screenshot, so I
Uh,
won't have to deny it. She was on somebody's panel. I don't know if it was Brianna or somebody. Not piano. She was in the chat or the comment section. I got to look at my screenshot because it was a while ago when I took the screenshot. So I had to look through it. But she either left it on a community wall or she said it in the chat, and she said it a couple of times in that chat, and I have pointed it out to her. But anyway, that's why I said I know she's mostly referring to Ness, but for somebody from dysphoria that wants to cry about people being made fun of for stereotypes, while she's talking about hating people with mud pies, like I said, that's
okay,
another reason I don't
I
believe. I
look,
don't believe much she said.
I can't speak on that part. You've said it. We've heard it. I've heard it. She's gonna have to, whatever. But yeah, it's her experience. It's just her experience, right? Like she comes from a particular family. Her story makes sense to
Allegedly.
me, and then she
It
used
didn't make
the
sense to
what
me because how long have you been in America?
I've not claimed whether I'm African or from Mercury. I don't tell my
Yeah,
personal.
yeah, yesterday you did because Molly made a comment in the chat and she said something about that Molly was here. Molly, what did you say? You said something about some countries colonized and other countries not. I guess sister come from a non-colonized, or you, one of y'all come from a non-colonized country and one of y'all don't. So she was saying you come from a non-colonized country and you think you better than her, so she needs to watch it.
No,
And then you was like, sister, I want you to know
I
I would never ever think I'm better than you because of that. Blah 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 blah. So that's kind of acknowledging you're from an African country and one that's not colonized.
well, I'm not going to colonization, non-colonization, alien, Africa, whatever. I'm not going to tell my personal story just because I want to protect myself. I'm sure you understand that. You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
understand that,
You
but
know how it
I
is
don't see
over
what I'm
here.
saying because you're not living in Africa, or even if if you are living in Africa, that's going to make it even harder for them to say anything. But I mean, I can't tell you what your level of comfort should be with sharing identifying information on the internet. So I'm not trying to force you to do all of that. I was just making a point that you did kind of admit that when Molly made that point about the non-colonization. Then you said, sister, I want you to know that will never be the reason why I have any type of. I would never let us. You said, yeah, you said I would never let them separate us like that. That's when I was like, okay, Nina. So why are you getting upset when I'm telling Black women to get on code and having unity with each other? Because you know what I'm saying. Because to me, we're being a little bit too welcoming. Because when it comes time for a little, like we having a slight conversation, everybody want to click up. And I noticed all the women that's from dysphoria, even though if they wasn't from Africa, wanted to click up with each other. But everybody in the conversation is living on Black women's plate. I just found that interesting.
If you want to center yourself, I would never stand in the way of centering yourself, because that's been my message throughout, right? Please center yourselves. I've said this
Yeah.
over and over and over again. And if you want to center yourself, please, I want you to center yourself.
Well,
I
yeah,
want
in
you
my
to do that.
opinion, you never had a problem with me doing it, you know what I'm saying? Except for yesterday, you know what I'm saying? But because you was trying to, but I get it, because then you're going to have to, when it comes to centering yourself, obviously it's going to be a problem because it's going to back and forth, because you're going to want to, I'm going to say, like, I get it, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, you never gave me that issue. But what I'm saying is,
Okay, look, for me, I think it's a human right. And I've said this over again. It's a human right to center yourself, for self-preservation, to put yourself first. Just understand who's an ally and who can work together, and who's actually against you.
mm-hmm.
Who is actually against you, and don't center white people. That's my only thing. You want to have, state pride, United States pride, Trinidadian pride, Ghanaian pride, whatever the freak, like, do whatever, center yourself. But at the end of the day, it's good, it's anti-blackness, women hate, and colorism. That's the issue.
Yeah, so
So
being that y'all been in America for all these years, why is it every time this conversation come up, there's no type of understanding, and it's automatically clicking up against the Black American women? We're saying something that's true. If we was in Africa and y'all didn't want us wearing a certain attire, we have to adhere to those rules, whether we like it or not, whether how we was raised, so we could be dressing freely. We just have to
Sister,
do it, right?
sister was literally
So
up
why
there
isn't that
talking about,
reciprocated?
I love both cultures. She literally
No,
was
that was
like,
after. That was afterwards. The video was still up. She came up there with a very nasty tone, very elitist, talking about she was very victimized. She was trying to go back and forth between condescending to Black men, women, and being a victim at the same time. Like that was supposed to, I guess, validate her condescending conversation concerning Black women. And I find it hard to believe she's 42 years
you,
old and white people have
I
not
am
bothered her.
condescending. Like, to be honest,
Yeah, but
100%
she was
take
being
responsibility.
condescending towards us.
I am.
Yes,
Okay,
but when you be condescending, you're gonna get checked with the facts of the life. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You can't be.
look,
And that's
what
basically
I'm
what I was trying to
telling
tell
you
her.
is that sister is so much
Calm down,
better than
Melody.
me.
We staying on code, Nina. Calm down. I'm not being
No,
excited.
yeah, no, I'm not. Look, we are on code. The code is colorism, anti-woman, anti-blackness. And
Yeah,
we
but I'm
work
talking about
together.
the
We're staying
anti.
on
Yeah, y'all was being anti-women towards American Black women, but we set the
her,
stage for
of
y'all to
all people.
flourish. Like
I'll take
we're providing the
responsibility.
stance you got to
Even
be able to fly to help your country, to help your personal
you
family.
heard that
We,
from her. Hold
yeah,
on, just real quick, let me speak, because I know that I poke at people. I know that I have been condescending, but that woman actually sat there and was like, I love both cultures, I feel at home at both cultures, I just want to explain my experience. And she came real different from me. I because people have been doubting my blackness, and I have, a defense mechanism. I've been poking, but with her, I see it's a real difference there that I see. So it's hard for me to accept there. I
I
wish
don't
you
see how
two
you see
would
a real
get to
difference.
know each
It's not
other a
like
little bit better.
what I've known of her, like I said, I know of her very well. She constantly says stuff to me in the chat. I ignore her because it's not really that serious. It's like I don't know if you noticed, it doesn't bother me. But I did see her say, and I pointed out to Ness several times. Don't you see how she talking about Haiti? She loved to talk about Haitians eating mud pies. So you know what I'm saying, and that's why I thought I didn't know she was African. That was the first time I seen her on the panel and even say anything about her life. Because usually she's always talking about mine. I didn't think she had one. So I learned a lot of things, but I even know that it was the sister that it was, because the name is different when she get on StreamYard. So when she was in the chat, because I would have brought this up to her on the panel, but she was in somebody's chat, I think Juicy J chat, and then he was like, "Oh, that was you on the live," and I seen her because she does have two different names for the chat and then the StreamYard. Because I'd have brought that up to her there, and then I would love to know if the Haitian ladies would have stuck up with her, but this is a good point. What do you think about this? They said immigrants are going to stick together as they should. Black American women have to hold so many L's for being inclusive to any and every group. I agree, colorful. That's why
I
I
agree
stopped.
too.
It's the paper
I
I
agree
couldn't
with
do
that statement
it.
100%. And I have been saying that bullshit for almost 2 years. Center yourself, even if it's against, some people that might want to be in your corner. Like, center yourself, dear sweet Jesus. Do that. Let no one take away your right to do so. Just understand who you navigate with and who you don't navigate with, who the enemy is and who actually wants to work with you, and
And what
understand that
and
this is a
that's another
hostile
that's a good
environment. So you
but
might hear
listen,
some.
but we're not in a hostile environment now, so calm down. But listen, this is another thing I was bringing up. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if you share her sentiments. That's why you didn't understand why it came across the way it would to me and most American black women. She said only thing she said is I got picked on by black American, and she's don't forget girls. It was the girls, the hood girls.
Right,
But
because
my thing is
everybody
this.
was saying that
But listen. She became a teen mom, and she's not with the child's father today. Wouldn't that be a bigger trauma than some fight she had in girls with high school? But she says she's not traumatized, but she's talking about it at 40. I don't remember anything that happened to me as far as some type of back and forth between some middle school and junior high school, or even high
yeah,
school. I don't remember.
I I think what she's trying to do is highlight that, look, that it goes both ways. The insults, the spear checker, the African booty scratcher, I'm going to look down on you because you're from a third world country and I'm American and all that stuff. It happens, right? Like it's
But no,
not,
but see,
I'm
but
not
black people
saying
get.
like it's the worst
But
thing
Nina,
on the
let me.
planet, but I'm
Not
saying
Nina.
it does happen.
All right. But what I'm trying was so we're doing this to have understanding, not we're gonna talk to listen, not just to respond, okay? Because I'm not being excited, I'm letting you talk, but you have to let it's a back and forth. But what I want to say is this. Yes, we did say the African booty scratcher, da 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 da. But we were just as quick to roast each other. A part of the black culture. See, when you in our culture, you come under our rules. That's how we do each other. You must enjoy it because you're in the B sector. You know what I'm saying? Because as an adult, like we did this every day as kids. So we enjoyed it. So that's why we in these type of settings. That's what black people do. It's not that serious. I mean, yes, do some people go too low
Okay.
and stuff? Yes, that's different. But yeah, I want to just read this comment. She said black women are too inclusive to the point we are split from paper, we let them sit there. Exactly. And that's the point of this live. I'm trying to get people to understand. And I'm giving tangible examples. And I'm happy Nina's up here to speak for her side of the fence.
Okay. Yeah. Just mentioning one's experience is not, obviously she had a deep love for both sides. It wasn't some, I hate African American women because this happened to me. It was just this happened, and it's not just something that goes one way, right? That's the only thing, right? And not even hyper like inflating those issues, right? Like, because I think, I don't know. I thought she was just sharing her experience, and she is definitely a lot less condescending than I am. I was like,
You know what I'm saying?
so
But like I said, I just well like I said, if you're around be condescending to me, of course you're not gonna say something. So that would like usually when you're doing the condescending to people, I kind of agree. So it's nothing for me to be mad about. But like I said, I didn't appreciate her talking down on American black women and coming from especially from a point of an African. Because when we go around the globe, Africans are not even let in certain hotels by the same people that's running their country. But American black women, American black people get a different respect. You know what I'm saying? When we go out, like African is so low on the bottom total pole when we go out of their continent and just go not. Let's not talk about America. Let's talk about Romania. Let's talk about Europe. You know what I'm saying? They don't even allow them in there. The UK, like they have to go through so much to get in these countries. But why would we believe that they're elitist and nobody else does? It's like they only want us to believe that. Like the people that run their country won't even let them stay in their hotels. They try to book it
I
online when
don't,
they get
I
there and they
think
see
you,
them. But no,
I
isn't
think you
is this
are
not true?
really, I think
No,
what you're doing, there are actual people from Africa that are elitist, and then there are people who are less elite or who, are suffering and whatever. But
no, but
if
I'm
we're
not talking.
really
I'm
going to
talking about.
talk about
Yeah,
elitists,
no, we're not talking
money
about leaders.
talks.
We're talking about no. We're talking about African treatment. The people that are running their countries, when they go to those same people's countries, they're not allowed to sleep in their hotels, just like black and white. Like they have black hotels and white hotels. They have that in several places in China, and it's only towards the Africans.
Yeah,
And these same people are
Africans
running
aren't
their
treated
country.
well.
Yeah, but it has nothing. I'm just saying, like, the person could be rich. It doesn't matter because, like you said, how would they be able to afford to fly to these other countries? They be going there on vacation and business, and they're still treated the same way. So this is, I'm not talking about financial. I'm
if
talking
we're
about
if we're
basic.
talking yeah, if we're talking about elitism, right, and that comes with money and resources, you always get around with money and resources, believe me, right? And I'm telling you, the people in Africa that are elitist are not even good to their own people, right? To the people that
Right.
are actually in the lower rungs. So what I'm saying is we
So
need
again, why
to,
would that be another bragging point of hers? Because we didn't ask her to bring that up. Knowing all of these things that come behind.
so she shouldn't share her experience at all.
I'm not saying she shouldn't share her experience, but she shared her experience as an effort to try to say, "Oh, I'm better," and I'm having, like she said, "I come from this," and when I had to be around hood girls, she gave this whole speech and made it about her, and that had nothing to do with the subject at hand. We were talking about colorism, and she came
No,
up there
we
saying
weren't.
that
We
people
weren't
make
talking
fun.
about colorism. We were talking about African versus African American
No,
experience. And
no.
she, yeah, no,
When I was in the
we
chat,
weren't talking about colorism.
that I know y'all was talking about that. Like I said, I have not listened to the whole live, but I know the point that I came in. Y'all were talking about colorism and who thinks they look good because of this color and that color. That was the exact conversation when she came up there, and when she came there talking about something. Well, I'm from Africa, and we don't come from slaves, so we're gonna have different experiences with the world. I'm like, excuse me. How we gonna have? You're right. We're gonna have different experiences with the world.
And this, yeah, we're gonna
Because
have
when I
different.
go to another country, I'm welcome. They see money. When Africans go to another country, they're banned from hotels, and they see vagrants and problems. No matter how they got there and what purpose they claim to be for,
No,
because they
that's not
Africans are known to be
true.
scammers.
That's not true. Money is
Africans are
money.
saying this, not
If you
me.
are telling me, if
Africans
you
are
are
saying this.
girl, if you are telling me that an elitist African who has millions of dollars, I'm not talking about whatever, is going to not find a place to stay wherever the hell they
That's
go.
not what I said.
I'm
I'm not
having
talking
a,
about the
because we're talking
millionaires.
about elitism, right? We're talking about
Yeah, but
elitism.
we're talking
We're
about, but
talking
yeah,
about
but you would no. Okay, see, let's be clear, because when you brought in the money earlier, you were talking about people that's poor and destitute. I said no, I wasn't speaking. I'm talking about working class Africans. They're not the
working
rich, but
class
they're not.
African. Working class
Well, not
Africans
what
are
you know
in
what I mean.
Africa.
Okay. See, you want to do semantics. I'm talking about people that can afford vacations. That can afford vacation. There are not only the king can afford a vacation. There are people in Africa, however you want to label them, they can afford to go on vacation or go to do business in other countries. Those type of people, obviously not the kings. That's I you know what I'm saying, I didn't know I had to go through all this, but obviously not the kings. I'm talking about the
I'm
Africans who can afford to
shoot, just the
travel.
average elitist African period. Look, if we're
But
going to
they're
talk
not
about
allowed in
elite,
those hotels. They're not allowed. And they make TikToks about it. They make YouTubes about it. And this is a very big problem. And the thing is the cake, like the cherry on top is that these same China people are running their country, whipping on them and everything.
okay, so then
So why would
maybe
she bring
the
up the point like she
can,
come from Africa?
can
That's not
you
a threat.
well then can you imagine an elitist African with the arrogance that you seem to think that they have with an American passport? What then?
No, that doesn't bother me. What bothers me is that she tried to come down and talk down on American black women, where she's coming to benefit herself. And then on
That
top of that,
look
she was a
if
teen mom. So I don't know. She's trying to say because trying to make it seem like that's a culture. No, that was a personal choice. I was a virgin to like me. Majority of my friends is virgins up until the 18th birthday. Some longer than that. So that's her personal issue. I guess with all this money, she wasn't. She couldn't afford a good school, or whatever, be cultured enough or be around enough guys, because if she was around guys with more money, they're more careful because they have things to lose like money and stuff. So that means and the father left her, so she's not doing anything elitist girls do that come from Sadiddy family does, you know what I'm saying? And her
so
family
it
didn't
see
do- they
it,
didn't handle it like they got Sadiddy money. So unless
it
we're talking about
seems
currency exchange when they left Africa and came over here, because there's a big difference in the currency,
so
especially in the
it
80s.
doesn't seem that it's that she's African. It was that she was elitist and Sadiddy that bothers you more.
It's the fact that she came and tried to make it seem like because she's from Africa and she was so much better. But what I'm trying to get understand is that why anybody who makes that argument, if your country's so much better, you would stay over there and fight for it and make it right like we made ours. But you can't come to somebody else's house and try to look down on them for what you think they are and aren't achieving, and you couldn't even do it yourself. You can't. You haven't
Would
did
you
half the
feel
thing.
would you feel the same way if it was an elitist, sedity African American woman who said the things she said?
Would I feel the same way?
Yeah, let's
It
say it was
depends
an
on how they feel.
African
I would feel.
American
I would.
woman who came from doctors and lawyers, and she, you know, fell pregnant at a young age, and then she said, I had to go to this type of school for
Well, I don't
teen
think they
mom.
would. I don't think a woman from this country would say that because everybody in this country knows the more accredited the school, the higher the job, the more opportunities the school has for you. You know what I'm saying? The reason why they put certain schools in the hood is because they want to block people and not let them have the same playing field that
Oh,
everybody
this
else.
is the problem. Okay, I'm going to give you some tea. I'm going to give you some tea. I'm going to give you some freaking tea right now. That is not the truth. There are there are states and places that go, and this is how Africans navigate the system, right? Like, you want to hear this? This is real good. Write it down, everybody. So what happens is somebody from, let's say, somebody from Africa, or somebody who went to a predominantly white area with a education system with a more rigorous curriculum, goes to school for a certain amount of time. What they will do, what they will do is specifically go to a high school in a less economically, abundant area, where they could go ahead and get with less rigorous curriculum throughout the years, compete with those people, get the highest GPA, and get scholarships because they want to get the scholarships. Does that make any sense to you? So that makes complete sense to me, that there are people that will go, or they'll go to an HBCU because it's more. And if you want to center
I know
yourself,
all
like,
about that
I'm not.
program. Anita, let me answer you. I know all about that program. Every state has different ones. I think they now have terminated those type of schools. In New York City, there was four high schools. You had to take a test, and they were in low income, more low. Hold on.
I'm giving y'all tea right now. Like, I'm not. I say center your freaking selves, right? Center yourselves
Okay,
to
well, hold
figure
on. Like
out
I
what
said,
you want to.
in New York City, they were four high school bronze. So you had to take a test to get into them, and those were the good top of the, like, they had the same things that the private school offered. So basically, yes, I know about them schools, but I also know there were private schools that had just as much and well equipped and well-to-do kids went to those schools. Those schools were for people
So
who didn't
her
have income.
experience
They
makes
didn't have the
sense. Like,
money. They didn't have the money, but that's what I'm saying. Her experience doesn't make sense to me because in America, the kids that try their hardest to get in them schools, they don't got the money to get into the private ones. That's what I'm
well,
saying.
I guess it's new tea to her, you guys in the chat. But what I'm saying is, people will go specifically to under disadvantaged schools because they can, because they can compete and then get the scholarships that is offered to that school because it's disadvantaged, or because the curriculum is not as rigorous, so it's easy to get through, or whatever. Like, everybody does things differently. The point is to get to a point where you own your own business, your own property, and you don't have to deal with the system as much, that you don't have to engage and get the same discrimination that you would get from white people. That, at the end of the day, that's the blueprint of an African immigrant, is you take advantage of everything you can to get to a point where you get your own business, and then send money back home, get a freaking
But
house,
see, I
go
don't
back
think
and
that.
forth.
But that's what I'm trying to say. That's not her. Well, obviously she probably won in her little section, but she tried to say she was one out of millions. That's a lie. Like I said, it'd be a whole school dedicated, and like the school has many spots in New York City. Those type of schools, they have like 20 to 32 a seat. So it's not no one in millions. So that was a, like I said, I'm not in Washington D.C., but they have this program all over. That's their way of giving back for not making making all the schools up to code. That's their thing. So this happens all over. I was also chosen for a school in junior high school. It's not a big thing, but for me.
So you can understand why she would go
No, I
to
don't
that
understand. I need
school.
to brag. No, because you can have the education, but they also look at things like like violent history. Because I never got into fights. There was no writers or teachers, so it's plenty of kids that could have passed that test, but maybe they got writers for being disrespectful with teachers and stuff like that, or they had fights and what I'm saying, things like that. So that could have held them back. So it's not necessary. She was so because most of the kids are very bright. It's a way about getting the education across to them, and we have the better education system over here. So she was already 2 years behind when she came at two. But yeah, I do know those are the games they like to play, but like that's nothing to brag about. So when she came and brought up them points, why would she do that except if she thought she was going to be elitist? And elitist people wouldn't think that was elitist. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just a whole weird vibe. She was trying to flex. And what I'm trying to tell anybody who comes into our house with this narrative, you cannot flex in our house, especially when we know ours is bigger, better, and more expensive than yours. And we have more. We may not own our house, but we have way more rights than y'all. You know what I'm saying? So it's just weird when you do that.
Rights where? Here in the United States?
Right. Like the
Wait,
right that we're up here talking in certain parts of Africa, they'll have like these renegade armies or whatever they call. I don't want to say the wrong word, but they'll send
are we talking about Africans in America, or are we talking about
She's talking
Africans in
about
Africa?
Africa. She's bragging because she's from Africa. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people think that they go from Africa. They have more culture. They have more history. They have more roots. But from the beginning, well, maybe not the beginning, but for so long, Africa has not controlled Africa. So
Well, there it's
it's like they're
different
living in the
culture.
past
It's
and then trying
different
to hold that
culture, it's
over our head.
different roots, but yeah, America's like what, 400 years old, 500 years old. So yeah, Africa's been here since the beginning of time. She is more rooted. I mean, the whole point is African
That's what I'm
Americans
trying to say.
are
It's
from
not rooted.
Africa.
We're more rooted because like we've been
Rooted
and black
where?
people are. Y'all feel like African? Do y'all think that the first time Black people traveled was through slavery or something? Black people,
No.
okay, so we are just as rooted and just as cultured. But I'm just saying, in my opinion, we're so rooted and
Do,
comfortable in our culture. We never try to go anywhere. When we do go places,
are you
we get
rooted here in the
way
United
more
States?
respect.
Is that your root? Is that what you
No, I'm
believe,
not
that your root
Haitian.
is here?
My brother is, huh?
Do you believe that your roots are here? That you're
Yes.
rooted here? Okay. You know what? I'm listening and I'm understanding, right? Because I'm thinking when I see a black person on the street in the streets of America, whether they're, Haitian or African American or Cameroonian, I'm thinking our roots are rooted in Africa. But what
Yeah,
you're
it's
telling
true.
me
It's
is,
true. But right now, like I said, we're gonna have to get past that because you know why? Africans keep coming over here since they know everybody's coming for that, and we doing our part. Like we all, like you said, we all got our own battles. So we over here holding down America. So since y'all know that's the root, that's supposed to be the main
America's
character.
the root.
No, I said Africa. See, you can't
Okay.
keep going back and
No,
forth
no,
between
I'm
the two.
sorry. I'm just
Yeah, but
listening.
we
I'm
just
listening. It's
the
very
last
early.
point that you made was that Africa is the home for everybody, and I'm telling you why more people are not feeling like that way, because we're over here. Our America is that's where we at. We got to hold down the American fort. That's what we're doing. We're pushing the line, towing the line more to progression and our benefit. Our issue is like the inclusive thing with not just Africans, Spanish people, and all of that. So, but when it comes to
I'm
but
totally
listen,
all
listen,
about the root.
but y'all not doing nothing to toe the line in Africa. Y'all. This is the second group. Like first the white man, now it's the China man. You know what I'm saying? So why y'all not holding down the homeland? You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, and like in America, we more. Everybody say we all at a matriarchy thing. Everybody know grandma house can't go under foreclosure. If she got a home, everybody gonna get together and make sure grandma keep her home. That's a rule. That's the
That's
foundation.
not what I'm
That's what
hearing.
everybody
What
grew
I
up. You know what I'm
like
saying?
to be completely fair, right? Like, because I haven't really pushed back on the ills of African American life, right? But yeah, no, there's some things that are going on. What I'm seeing in the United States right now, and this is my belief system, uh, I believe that African Americans are Africans that were brought to America way before the new generation of Africans came to America. That's all the difference that there is. They're still Africans. It's just they're, hundreds of
Yeah,
years
but they
removed from
cultivated their own
Africa.
land over here. That's what I'm trying to say. Because the real Indians were black people. So I'm not gonna go acting like some imaginary race was made up. The real Indians are black people. So what I'm saying is those Africans over there, they did not. They let their people get enslaved years ago. That's how some more of us got over here. And then right to this day, they're still not holding their own line for their own things. And then they want to come over here and act like being from Africa is such a good regal thing. How?
And
What
let
I'm trying to
me
say, but like I said, why only flex on us? Because you coming over here use our benefits. The people that you want to be so inclusive with, they won't even let you sleep in their hotels, and they literally run in your country. So when you are
Wait, but you guys fought the rights for us to, since I'm African now, for us to, be in these hotels. Are we talking about Africa? Or are we talking about Europe, China? Where are we?
It's in China. I told you. I told you already. I gave you an exact example. China. I'm using China because I want you to know the people that are running your government country. They make you. They're whipping on the Africans. They got them working for slave
You do
wages.
understand that there's 54 countries, right? Like, yeah, and if I
But
am
we're
African,
talking
which I
about
have
the
not
one that
confirmed nor denied,
okay.
right?
But it doesn't matter how many the country doesn't matter. The fact is this is what's happening. Africa is being ran by different parts of Africa more than not of the and what's not being run by Chinamen is being run by the white men. They don't run their stuff. But what I'm trying to tell you is the same countries, not just China, but the Europe ones too, that are running Africa, got them working for them for their land. You know what I'm saying? Taking their land minerals and stuff like that, and using them as the tool to get it. When they go to
I
the
don't think
same
that
no no
that's
no,
been
but you cannot listen.
nobody's denying this.
So why are you so why so what is the problem?
Nobody's denying
Why
the
are you
horrors
okay?
of Africa, right?
Oh,
Like
no, no, no,
there's
but listen, you always cut me up. Maybe that's not what you're not letting the plane
okay, let
land
me let
on
me
your
just
head.
be completely quiet. Go ahead.
Thank you. So what my point is this. The same people that are over there overtaking a country, they cannot visit these same countries. But when American black people go to these same countries, do we face adversity? Yes, but not the same. Nobody thinks that when American black people go to their country, we're trying to move in and stay. So we get to move freely when we go over there, American black people. So we are treated different when we go to these countries that y'all actually trying to refugees to or move for better business opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So when we go,
Mm-hmm.
so when you come to our house and try to act like you're the elitist, knowing that you need our land and benefits, and when you go to other lands, they don't treat you, but they don't treat us the same because they see us as the more elitist. Do we ever say that to y'all? No, but it's like some type of
You're saying that to me now, but go ahead.
how.
Okay, look, for me, Africans or African Americans, people with melanin, African Americans cannot even go into some white gated community in the United States itself.
Not true,
Here,
because they
forget
can get
China.
arrested. Yes, we can. Yes, we can, because it's called
Without fear of being shot. Do you
no, no,
understand
no.
that?
And then,
Without
but
being
no,
without
that was
fearing
back then.
being
Not
shot
no, that's
today.
not.
There's
Why you get those? And there's also a lot of lawsuits just for discrimination, just for a cop walking up to somebody and following them around in these areas. Yes, sometimes it leads to shooting, but for the most part,
I mean,
they get way more
Aubrey,
lawsuits for discrimination. It
Ahmed
is against the
Aubrey,
law.
just like
But
2 years
Africans straight up
ago.
have no rights though. So you can't make that comparison. They straight up can't do nothing about it. They try to pay their money online. When they get to the hotel, they see who they are. They straight up tell them not only are they not sleeping here, they not getting no money back. And they have to sleep in the street homeless, and they make countless videos. It's like they know it's gonna happen. For some reason, they always think they more special and gonna get treated different. It's all over YouTube. Not anything black Americans are saying.
And
These are things they
this is
are saying to us
associated. What is
because
this
they want black
associated
Americans
with?
assistance.
Okay, so how is this associated with Africans in America that are thriving
They can't put
because of
elitists
African
because
Americans?
Americans accept you because black Americans are inclusive. But everywhere else you go, those black Americans, those black people and those white people, those Chinese people, they treat you worse than dirt. But y'all come over here where we are very nice and welcoming and try to act like you can look down when we all know what your company represent and how everybody feel about you. So
Don't you
why
know
not?
that
But with that
Africans
being
are
known,
arrogant
with
to
that being known,
everybody?
Go ahead.
uppity. Africans are arrogant to everybody. Believe me,
Yeah,
everyone.
but
At
Americans
least
are,
the Africans that I know.
but Black Americans are known for grounding people. That's why we was able to keep our stuff because we stay grounded, and we can't have
And
nobody.
that is beautiful. The inclusive nature of African Americans is a beautiful thing, and also a detriment to self at the same time, right? Because I'm the one who says center yourself, and you are the center. Only give out what you
Yeah,
have left. Don't give.
I said that. But hold on, Miss K. Fick, hi, welcome to the panel.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Real quickly, I was trying to get your attention when y'all were a lot further back. First thing first, pay attention to the chat. Somebody with the name Sparrow is telling you to shut your kid up in the background. We don't do that. We don't talk about kids. We don't attack kids. That's number one. Let's get that out of there. Number two, what it's called, going back to the educational piece, what it's called is called Title I schools. Title I schools are where they serve the underprivileged or underserved areas, but they have the funding. So a lot of people cherry pick those areas because they know that if their child has a higher GPA, they can kind of fly through. Now, Nina, some things, there's something I disagree with you completely on. My mother lives in a gated community. I live in a gated community and I don't feel threatened at all, like I'm gonna be shot. And the reason being is because the evolution of these gated communities now is a lot more brown than what it used to be.
I
A
said
lot more.
some.
Which one of those though? Because if you're in the metropolitan areas where those gated communities are, it's really not like that. It's typically in these more country towns that's where it is.
Mm-hmm.
At
And this is, and I definitely am saying some. I'm not saying all. I even referred to the elitist African Americans that live in this country when I was talking about what if it's an elitist African American woman who said the same thing. I'm not saying that African Americans are not doing well in America, that there's no African Americans doing well. So, yeah, and that there's no African Americans in gated communities. What I said is there are places that people fear going to here in the United States. So bringing up these other things, I mean, we're all suffering, is what I'm saying.
yeah,
That's
the
Yeah,
all.
yeah, Molly, I agree.
sundown
That's why
towns.
I said that. Yeah.
Sundown towns are where we're afraid to go to because they actually still exist here in America.
Yeah, but do you remember
For
that couple in Missouri that, the white woman that, or was it Indiana? I think it was Missouri, where they brought out their guns for a black man being in their gated community, and they had their guns out. There was protests against it. I mean, there's
But
sundown towns, but there's lots of racism in the
but
United States against
yeah, we
people
know
who are
that, Nina.
black.
But I don't want to get.
nobody's not even
Yeah,
saying
but
that
I
it's
don't want
not
to get up
racism.
past though. The
Right.
point of the whole conversation was that you cannot feel elitist with against a group of people who other people. We don't act elitist towards Africans. That's the thing. We don't do that. But
Yeah, but
when we
see
go to other countries, they treat us better than they treat y'all because they
what?
feel that we're better. But
Okay,
Africans only want to pretend that they're
but
better
but that's
to the
but that's
only
what
group of
Sister
people
was
who are
saying. That's
treated
what
enough.
Sister was saying. Sister was saying, yes, some African Americans do act elitist to Africans. Those were the experiences that she was mentioning, the being called names, the looking down on your experience or where you're from, because you're from a third world country. I'm not pressing that point. I haven't, but that is the yes, African Americans do. That happens as well. That's all. And I don't want to inflate it. I don't want to make it the thing that makes whatever. And it doesn't need to be a back and forth. But yeah, it does. And
No,
you're not
we're just
acknowledging
having a
that.
conversation.
You're
Only
not taking that in.
Yeah, but Nina, we're just having a conversation for understanding. But Charlene, I don't know if you heard what I said earlier. Like I stated, when I go on these type of sites like YouTube and Facebook, I use them to talk to people from all across the globe because I don't trust the news in my own city. So I'm not going to trust. I'd rather hear from the people that live there. So I've had several Facebook groups where we have these discussions where people that were living in their country right now, and a lot of I would say the most willing to admit Africans you will find is South Africans. They've been the most honest about how Africans really feel and treat American Black people, even though they need us. And It's not so much the other way around.
I have a friend that's Nigerian, and she tells me all the time. She was like, we look down upon y'all. That's exactly what she said. She said we look down upon y'all for various
Yeah,
reasons.
I'm not gonna lie about
And
that. I think some people do, but it
and
goes both ways.
But not just that, but like I
I
said,
don't think
when Africa made its council, why did they want to include Haiti? Is that why she talks about Haiti and Mudpie so much? Because I know when they made their great council, they didn't even want to include Haitians.
Nothing that you guys are saying is something that anyone is denying, right? The state of Africa and how horrible things are, that there are elitists in Africa that are even um, a detriment to their own people, that traveling with an African country passport is not as easy as traveling with an American passport. I promise you, that's the damn truth. But all this to say, what? We're all here, we're all suffering, and yes, there's elitism on both sides. There are people. That's all
No,
she was
no, that's
saying.
what I'm trying to say. It's not. But we have the right to be elitist about things that, like, if I brought it, it's my house. I made it. I got the bills. I did that. I'm not going to treat you equal, and you coming over here depending on
Okay.
me. You have to humble yourself.
Okay. So
You
you would
don't think
have the
so?
right to be elitist and look down
That's
on
not being elitist.
African.
No, not
Okay.
being elitist. It has the right to demand respect. You're not. You don't get the right to come here and talk mess to me in my house that you need. You need the shelter. I can't go to you for shelter. You're coming to me. So how are we on equal footing? That's what I'm trying to
You
say. You know
you
what I'm saying?
do understand. You do understand that it's both. Yes, and I don't want to keep on pressing that point and start some type of diaspora war, but we're pretty much saying that not African Americans are just sweet and open minded and never say a harsh word to Africans or look down on the fact that
I
they
never
come
said
from
that. I
poor.
never said that. I said that we didn't
Well,
only do it to Africans. We no, I never said that. I said that's a part of black culture. Roasting each other. You know what I'm saying? Y'all took
yeah,
it
but
personal.
okay, yes, okay. Let me explain this because, and I did, right, when I first came to the beef sector, and I was like, you guys, why are you calling each other primates and monk? Why are you, insulting the this and that and whatever, especially about color and features and all this other stuff. The anti-blackness is on 10, and everybody would tell me, we play the dozens, this is our culture, and this, yeah,
And I don't
except
know, but see, that's
it's
no, that's
not.
another. No, you can't. Now you're generalizing. There is an issue, and black women have been making this argument for years about the colorism things, and sometimes about it's more hatred behind them things disguised as jokes or whatever the case, because it's affecting dark skinned women, and when they trying to go for jobs and in terms of beauty and seeing as feminine or not, whatever the case may be. So yeah, there is another point at that, but I don't think nobody took it there with Africans and stuff like that. Oh, you African, you a booty scratcher. Da, da, da. They may have said that when they was 10, 12, 13, maybe even at 16. But when they're 20s and in their 30s, they're not seeing Africans as booty scratchers. They actually trying to get to know them, get to learn about their homeland. That's how that big wave got started. People wearing dashikis. Like, we're very inclusive to them. But every child goes through a hazing with each other. We're all insensitive. We don't know no better. Our brains are not developed. But when these people get to a certain age mind frame, women
I
and men
literally
are still
look.
colorist. So
I
I don't think
literally
that's a
hear
big, like,
people.
I mean, when I say it's not a big deal, it's not. Nobody's stopping Africans because they African. Everybody gets insulted as a child, but once people were
It's
supposed
not
to be
about
adults,
children.
color
It's not about
colorism is more prevalent.
uppity. I don't think you're hearing me. I honestly don't think you're hearing me. People actually use. I've heard people. You look like a freaking African. Everywhere you hear, there's this worship of whiteness within African Americans, and especially white phenotype. Anybody who has
I don't
more
have white
white
phenotype,
genetic.
but I don't look African. I think there's distinct features between different ones. Like, just like I said, because we've been holding our own toe in line for years, so that's why you can really tell an African from a like a Caribbean.
As
We
but
all
yeah,
have
but
different
what I'm saying,
aesthetics.
it's being
Yeah.
used as an insult. Do you understand that there's some deep
To some
rooted
people, that's only, but those
anti-African?
things, nah, I don't think, I think a lot of people think Africa is beautiful and stuff like that. as much as people, you know who went the hardest trying to change the image of the bellies around the bees? African American, especially when they got into that Pan African movement. They pushed it more than Africans. When Africans come over here, they're very white identified. They'll get together with Hispanics and white and Arab before they ever try to make any type of from commodity with black people, but they'll sell us everything they got though. So you cannot keep taking and taking and taking and want somebody to keep giving. Like I said, the hazing thing, I never said it didn't. I said it happens to all of us. So for her to be crying about it at this age, and she should be more traumatized by whatever man got her pregnant as a teenager and walked out. To me, that would be more traumatic. I wasn't a teen mom, and neither were none of my friends, so I can't relate to that part of her history. You know what I'm saying? But she thinks it's a normal thing in America, and it wasn't. Not for me and my friends. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about not friends I grew up with in the project. I'm talking about friends I went to high school with, and I went to a very one of the top tier high schools. It was the first school built for kids who were into environmental study, but parents didn't have the money. White people gonna take care of their own, but of course they had the
Okay.
same test.
Okay. Quick question. And then so you also believe that what the that Black people are from the North America, because you touched on that a little bit, that
I believe that black people travel the world. I believe everything comes from black people. There have been scientific studies. The oldest bone wasn't found in Africa. They dug deeper in the earth, and then they found bones in New Mexico, and them
uh-huh.
bones were the exact same features. And not only that, the hunting tools they found were the exact same type they use in Africa. So people been traveling. So now they saying like New Mexico, but it still had the same bones of an African woman
Okay.
or
Well,
black
I'm gonna
woman.
go ahead and step down.
Okay.
That's okay.
That's scientific factor. You can look it up. Good morning, K Fit. What's going on?
Hey, boo.
Mm.
Hold on one second. Um,
Yeah, I understand. They can't
she
figure that time.
she got down before I could even get into what I wanted to say because my thing, and I don't have any personal quarrels or qualms with Nina or whatever. 'Cause I don't know her, but my question to her, she's so pro black, pro African. The fact that she doesn't have all the knowledge base of black history here in America is very appalling, because almost everybody knows about it everywhere. So I just find it a little bit appalling, as to why, if it's so concerning and to the forefront for her, why hasn't she done her due diligence to really research it a little bit better than what she has? You know what I mean?
Well,
That
in
was
my
just
knowledge, when people do that, it's selective memory. You really think she doesn't know, or she's pretending not to know to be able to make certain arguments?
that was also a thing I was wondering too, whether it was just, oh, you're doing this just to play on people's emotions at this moment in time, because there's nowhere that you can go that they don't know about these things.
Yeah, because I've learned that throughout my debate thing when debating. When people play those games, I don't even acknowledge it because then it could turn into a whole side debate. See, like she wanted to get into the gated community argument. I'm like, what does gated community have to do with anything? This discussion is about, hey, Miss Juicy, this discussion is about Africans coming over feeling elitist, and the premise that they feel elitist at all was was crazy. That's what I wanted to get to. Well, how could they feel elitist, especially in terms of us? We're not talking about the classes, because like the currency exchange alone, but like, how do you feel elitist towards the people, towards us? Like, how did you get to that frame of mind? You know what I'm saying? And I guess she couldn't really say any reason, so that's why she went to go or have these side arguments that I didn't feel like it was necessary. They're more
No,
opinionated.
correct. No, correct, because we did a lot of the work and built this country over here. So there is no arguing there. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, there is no argument.
Yeah, so that's why they want to bring up other points that don't matter. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, okay, whatever. You don't want, that's you looking crazy by saying you don't know this or that. That's you.
For sure. for sure, for sure, for sure. Hey, everybody. I hope everybody's doing good.
What is your opinion on everything, and like in terms of it? Because I know you were saying something about the school system, so you want to get into a little bit more detail.
Well, the school, what people have to understand about the school systems is, my mother's a principal, so
Yeah, I remember you
um,
told me.
it's it's called Title One schools, and what it is special funding set aside for the underserved and quote unquote underprivileged um, children. And what happens is a lot of times what they'll do is they will cherry pick and they will find out, y'all, I'm in the grocery store. If y'all hear some background noise, that's what that is. But a lot of times what will do is find out those areas um, and get a waiver so that their child can go there because they understand, number one, the competition may be a little bit less than due to them not having the academic standards that some of these uh, more privileged schools have. Now, however, that doesn't mean that people that come out of there are dumb, for sure, but it just gives them a edgewise because, quote unquote, they look at it as the work is a little bit easier. So they're able to thrive with ease, so to speak. But they're cracking down on that very much so because they're seeing, and that's a reason why they put so much funding in Title One schools now because they're trying to level the playing field. Um, because it's not right. Just because you're in an affluent area doesn't mean that you should have the funding, and then an area that is not so, affluent doesn't get funding. Those are the schools that need the funding. So that's why they created these Title One schools, and they're putting a big stop to that now because they're getting hip to the game. You know what I mean?
And voodoo, whoever made you do that, it was probably a white government school system. That has nothing to do with African Americans. I mean, well, Black Americans, should I say? Black Americans had nothing to do with that. And like I said, did Black kids probably make fun of you? Yeah, fine. But like as they got older, did it happen? No, we all went through hazing. Black kids made fun of me for being fat. So I'm over it. I was fat, you know what I'm saying? But Black Americans, no matter if they down south, we don't have to take those type of classes. So I don't know, because like I know when my daughter father, when he had a green card, but he was doing his citizenship. And so I know y'all gotta take classes and swear to serve. Oh, so I don't know if that was a part of it. But Black Americans have nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry you went through that. But like I said, that has nothing to do with us. You know what I'm saying? And like everybody said, so it seems like when y'all come here, y'all want us to not only fight the battle to put a progression, but we have to fight y'all personal issues, like when they discriminate against your accents. You know what I'm saying? But nobody's there fighting with us when we go through our personal issue. That's when you want to say, "Well, I'm Haitian, I'm African, so I'm not Black." Y'all love to say I'm not Black when it's time to fight, but when it comes to the benefits, we all sisters and brothers. I think that's what y'all not catching, and it's not. It's like it's kind of like. Well, I hope it'll be eye opening for some. I'll just say that.
Basically, what you're saying is, and I'll put it out there this way. Basically, people only they don't want our pain. They want our privilege, the privileges that we get.
That's
That's
it.
what it is.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Hmm.
what it is. They don't want our pain. They
Right.
want our privilege.
Exactly. And that's why I would just hope, because y'all already know I told y'all Black women are the center here, and I just hope to have these discussions. And I love that Nina was, she was like, I feel like I got a lot more out of her than we did the other day. We got to see, and hopefully she got to understand, what I could get through to her.
For sure. And I think
I've
because what
always said
happens
that.
is,
That's what I do.
I think what happens is that it gets the conversation gets so crazy, right? That she goes in defense mode and then she says stuff to get a reaction and a response out of it, to arouse people because that's what she wants to do. And then she becomes the
Right.
topic of the conversation, and now
Hmm.
everybody is losing their shit. You know what I'm saying? Behind what she's saying. you know, it's just, people do that, have that effect. They know they can say things to get underneath your skin, so they go ahead and pull that trigger, to
Right.
do so, especially when they feel their backs in a corner, or they are not, and not saying this about her, but just they are not built for the battle at that time, you know?
Right. Yeah, and because I find it crazy that sister girl pertains, like I said, she said Haitians eat mud pie several times. So that's kind of funny coming from the dysphoria point of view. And then on top of that, she tries to call me a single mom, and lo and behold, she was a teenage mom. She had a baby at 15. I was pregnant until I was almost 19. I mean, pregnant. I was a virgin until I was almost 19 years old with a guy I was with for like 2 years before that. So he wanted me to have it. He wanted to settle down and everything like that. And the guy she had a kid with didn't even stay around. So the type of like she literally thinks, because I don't know if she thinks because she's African, these mistakes. I'm not gonna call her child a mistake, but I'm saying these choices that she didn't plan for were still make her elitist in the lifestyle because she works now and I don't. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's weird. Like so she really think coming from Africa is a flex. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be proud of your country. I think everybody should be proud of their country. Like I said. But what you can't do is look down on people here. I have this conversation with my daughter father several times. Both of them. They were having an elitist thing, but they they feelings for women is different though. You know, like how you say it, like they feel like they can offer more to American black women than American black men. It's not that they can't, it's that they're more willing to. So they're from my experience, I would say dealing with like Caribbean guys, there was like more love towards me as a black woman outside of the men that I and my family or whatever and my friends. Like I know they are, but they were taken. So it was easier. It was more pickings, but like I said, they don't even want to deal with like there's like a thing like they don't want to do. I know a big thing why they don't want to deal with their women is because if they do got family to take care of back home, because most of them countries are doing so bad, they don't want to have to deal with a woman where they will have to support two different families. See here, they know because of how our system is set up, they don't have to support my whole family. Whether they was with a Caribbean woman or African woman, they would have to support their family and his family. You know what I'm saying? So the option, especially if you want to stay at home mom for your mother, you know what I'm saying, for your kids. So it was not feasible for him to have to go with somebody from the Caribbeans or Africa, and he got to support two different families back home and support himself and his family here. You know, so that's why I always supported like integration dating, whatever within culture. But like I stated, you cannot, and then women especially, like y'all got to stop coming over here talking down on Black American women. We are the reason why y'all ain't included. That's our
We're the
heart.
backbone.
That-
At the end of the day,
Right.
we're the
Always
backbone.
been.
We're the backbone.
Always been.
We're the
But y'all
backbone.
catching up to yeah, but
We
they have
get
no
we
problem. But they bow
we
down
get
to
things
American men in
done.
a minute. And the American
Um,
men don't even like them. That's the sad part. They'll
we
open up
get
the community for anything but Caribbean women and Black African women. If they Caribbean, they white adjacent. They don't look like us. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, K. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. We're the backbone because if you look at everything that has been accomplished here in America, let's even go school buses. School buses are designed to
I don't know. You went on mute, I think. Yeah, they do treat like I said. They don't. That's what I was asking her. What do Africans do for us? So why she feel like we should be so, you know what I'm saying, thinking they're so much better than us, you know? It's the black, and then it's always the black women they got the smoke for. If you look at the videos, they like, especially when black women date like Caribbean men or African men, the videos they make hating. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's weird. But when you come over here, you are so included. You know what I'm saying? Like the black women open business with them, but it's never the other way around. And I think it's weird that they, knowing what black women go through in all countries, especially their own, they're gonna come over here and try to because you're African. Like it's weird. Or whatever one. And then they all will band together before they band with the same women who are being inclusive. So I just want black women to peep that. And I'm not trying to create no dysphoria war. I'm just taking notes. or with the people who did it and said it, you know? Yeah. They following white supremacy rules, but telling us we don't know our culture. Ain't that weird? Or feeling cultured. How you gonna feel cultured trying to create elitist tribes on our homeland? That's weird. Like I said, that sister girl, she's very colorist. I wish she had the same. I mean, not colorist. She's very want to be elitist or whatever the case may be. I wish her name was the same name because she damn sure. While y'all was over there defending her, she damn sure say Haitian eats mud pies. That's her favorite thing to say. And she damn sure was trying to say I'm a single mom when I've never been a single mom, and I damn sure never was a teen mom. None of my friends was teen mom. Majority of my cousins don't even have kids because they believe in marriage first. You know what I'm saying? All my sisters are married before they had kids. This is just a personal choice for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't believe in marriage. Because I live in America, the land of freedom. My family's not going to disown me. The government can't do nothing to me. You know, I can have as many kids as I want, but as many, you know, that's my right. But you would think, no, I was never married. I don't want to be married. When I used to want to be married, that's when I used to be a part of the church. My sisters are still a part of the church. How we grew up, you get married before kids and sex. That's why I was a virgin for so long. I thought I was gonna marry that guy, but you know, when I turned 18, was able to see the world for myself. I was like, I'm done with religion. And a lot of those things that I had, a lot of my life changes because I grow and I do things and I do my research. Like I stated, when I'm talking about these things with Africa, these are things Africans are telling us. That's why I use the internet for. You don't have to go to nowhere. Why would I want to go to a place they're fleeing? That don't make sense. A lot of these, you know what I'm saying? No. But the same people running their countries, they can't even go visit these people hotels, but Black Americans can. So that's why would you think you're elitist to us? And we don't act elitist, but and when she's saying I don't say, oh, Black people don't do nothing wrong. I didn't say that. I never said that. But we damn sure ain't going over there in your house trying to do shit to you. And you don't have to smoke with none of those people. Yeah, we know they did. How am I a single mother? Her father's name is the government. I'm only a single mother if her dad didn't sign the birth certificate. He did. You can't make me go by church rules. I'm not in the church. I go by the government that I'm a part of, that I was born into, that my ancestors was born into, America. And America says that if the father's name is on the birth certificate, he's the father. The only way he's assumed the father is the mother's married. So get their laws right, because you can't mess with uppity. Uppity makes sure her kids get all the benefits, all of them. Well, I don't want to be married. What's the point of that? What's the point of me being married? What would be the point of that? A man has not asked for my hand in marriage that make enough money. See how like y'all come over here to get great benefits? Uppity marries for benefits. You know what I'm saying? Love will have to be involved, but it got to be beneficial to me. And I feel like people from the dysphoria should understand that more than anybody else. So you want to have any more talk about marriage because you mad because I'm bringing up the facts? No. I believe marriage is a business. I believe I don't believe like it's illegal to get married. I just don't believe it's right for me. If I ain't meeting nobody that's making it, because marriage is a business first. It's a business. It's like you're sharing social security numbers. And even though I don't work, I could hit the lottery tomorrow. And I don't like having to get permission to get away from nobody. If I want to leave somebody, I want to be able to go. I don't want to have to go to a judge. But if you like marriage, go ahead and do it. I just said that. Marriage is a legal binding contract. You were absolutely right. It's a legal binding contract. And I don't enter any contract unless, you know what I'm saying? Unless all the terms are right for me. In order for me to even agree with marriage, they have to be very financially stable. I'm talking about pay me for my pain if things go left. And I don't want to have to be the one paying. I know too many women on child support because they broke husband ain't got a job. It won't be uppity. Exactly. You got a lot of women marry for title. I don't. I claim myself. Shit. I don't need to be claimed. I claim myself. I got my daddy last name. I'm good. A lot of girls don't have that, so I know marriage mean a lot to them. What bad experience? I ain't have no bad experience. I could get married. I just don't want to. Yeah, they want to bring up marriage because they don't. They're mad because I'm talking about the facts of the. They can't deny nothing else. I'm saying. Like I said, th- my child father signed the birth certificate. If anything happened to him, she's getting everything by the state. I ain't got to go nowhere and do shit. They gonna come to me. And she and knowledge, she's the only child, so she's getting everything. My other two kids, they would have to split, I guess. Who? Who paying for kids? Who pay for who kids? Nobody paid for mine. My daughter's name is on the birth certificate. I mean, my daughter's dad's name is on the birth certificate. He paid for his own child. She got her dad last name like I got mine. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it's all about school curriculum. So, but what Nina was trying to imply, like, oh, the kids in the hood ain't smart. The kids in like I said, you must not know they are very intelligent, even with all the adversity. That's why I said if you see most of the black kids making it to Mensa groups and stuff, they were homeschool kids. They're black American homeschool kids. So once black people wasn't denied education, they took great advantage of that. We did a lot of the progress you see in America were built by black people. Okay, black people. I'm talking about on engineering level, on in the medical field. I'm not talking about no basic stuff. They could talk like everything counts, but I'm just saying we had our hand in everything progressive. That's why there's still a fight going on right now for ownerships. It's a money thing here. But she didn't come for that money because she had to come look where the hood was at to try to take advantage of those kids. Exactly that part, Lynn Morris. You know what I'm saying? That part. Because like I said, most of the Caribbeans that's about the American dream. Well, I was gonna say I'm not gonna say just Caribbean. I'm speaking because I know from experience from Caribbean, the guy I dated or whatever. I don't date African men because, like I told you, they had the same mindset as American black men, in my opinion. So I never really dated them, and I see them working them African women. So that's why I'm like, how are you coming over here with an elitist attitude, girl? Mm-mm. Exactly, Miss Dobie, what you talking about? But yeah, yeah, that's the point. They come over here. A lot of them are on welfare. You see a lot of them in welfare office, and a lot of them are making under the money table to be able to get those welfare benefits. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, well-to-do African families don't do that. Most of them, they stack their money or what they can start out as CNA workers. They'll work 100 hours. You know what I'm saying? But they make sure their kids go to private schools so their kids can have a better start. That's what you know what I'm saying. That's what I see a lot of them do. I don't know no Sadiddy families from doctors and lawyers because I know they don't recognize their degrees in Africa because their education system is not as good as ours. So that's why they have to retake tests and go through certain courses to get certified here. So that's what her parents would have been doing if she came over here at 2 years old and they already know most of this stuff. They would have been able to get certified by the time she was in teenage level. They would have been able to afford her in private school because doctors over here make a lot of money, and there's always openings because of the affirmative action. So they got to have a certain amount. And if you from Africa, and so they count that as a double what you call it, a double thing. So you African and you got the degree, so they get double credits for just giving you a job, no matter how basic your diploma was, you know. So they do things like that. So her story didn't make sense. I'm sorry, because like I told you, the black people I know, they really went to school and did these type of things. Like I told you, my cousin, how I was able to get my shoes from London. Her mother was a city worker. You know what I'm saying? And she was married. One of the reasons why I know marriage, like, but like I said, she grew up in a Christian. Like I seen women that grew up in a Christian church, and I like a lot of Christian women. I know they were hardworking women, especially the ones that really followed. These women were. Well, my aunt, she smoked the weed, and they used to look down on her in the Christian church. They know she smoked weed, but other than that, they couldn't say nothing. But she was a 7-day adventure. The aunt I'm talking about, married and everything for a title. Believe she had to be married before she had kids. She didn't be married. She was married 2 or 3 different times. She got 5 kids. All 5 of the guys let her work her butt off and did nothing to contribute. And eventually left her. And she did the same thing over and over and over. You know what I'm saying? But to her credit, she worked. She always kept city jobs and put all her kids through private school. All 5 of them, and they all made good jobs. So one of the youngest daughter, she's the one. She didn't have to really pay too much for her college because she got a full college degree. And one of the years she did school overboard in London. So she went to college for a whole year abroad in London. And she's in corporate law right now. She just started out and she's making like 50K a year. And she's in her early 30s. She's like 31 or 32. So like I stated, I've seen it. I know how it goes. And I think out of her 5 kids, any of them I don't think none of her kids were teen moms either. Like I said, my family, it was very like we be elitist with each other, you know. It was a bragging thing in my family. Who kids gonna be the smarter? Because a lot of black families, especially that because a lot of my families from down south, where it still can get racist. So education was a big thing in the black community. You know what I'm saying? And that's why everybody's fighting so hard to get these kids good programs in school. A lot of black people are creating their own schools. You know what I'm saying? They don't talk about that, but it's happening. So we make a way for ourselves. We don't go to Africa or any other place and beg for handouts. And I hate to put it that way, but it's like it's like people making excuses and acting like she wasn't being a leader. She was very being a leader, and then try to come over here and say like, oh, they come over here and go to these schools because they think they can be smarter. You cannot be smarter. You know what I'm saying? Don't you know they count kids that's in attendance? They count zeros from kids that never even went to school and took the test. They count that in too. Why do you think it was such a big scandal in so many states of teachers putting wrong grades because they were trying to get more grants to their school because a lot of their grants depended on grades. So a lot of teachers lost their job fixing grades so they can get more funding in their school. So it's a lot we got to deal with. But we're black women still remain out of all groups of women, including African and any other race. So we're talking race, ethnicity, and everything. Black women are leading college across the United States. Across. And in the UK too, I'll be seeing some good things. So it's in our genetics. So why would you come over here when you're not competing at the same level globally as we are? How could you think you're elitist? That's weird to me. I'm uppity because I know my history and the people that I come from, and I represent them well. Like I said, black women are they're venturing out. You know what I'm saying? First of all, my son don't have a full scholarship, so there is a tuition fee, and I am paying it. I pay his tuition with the money. My man gives you $1K a week. The money that I get from my $1K a week, I use that to pay. I pay his tuition. Yes, I do, and I also help him with clothes. I help my older daughter with clothes. I help her with her hair. Don't be mad at me because I put myself in a position for a man that can provide. That was what I like to do. And my older daughter, what you have to realize is I don't have to do anything for her but what I want to do. My Haitian daughter, I do things. I don't take care of her main necessities. I would if I had to. Don't get me wrong. I would if I have to, but I don't have to. He married up He married a woman that makes a nice income. He married up. He's a Haitian man. He married when he was with me. He paid for all the bills. When he with her now, when he got married, because he asked me to marry him, I said no. But anyway, when he did get married, because marriage was important to him, he married up. So the woman he makes at least 4 times his income, and she wants him to feel like the king. So he runs her check. So my daughter is very well taken care of. So everything I pay for her, I want to. So it's something that's something that's me and my daughter do. I take care of her hair. I take care of her nails and feet. I don't buy all her clothes, but like she goes shopping because you can never have enough clothes as a girl. So when she goes shopping with her dad, she goes shopping with me, and I budget my money very well. Because like I said, even though he give me money to take care of my daughter, like I said, his daughter that we got together, all the main things she needs, like her electronics, her like she's still in pull-ups and wipes. Her eyeglass wear because what you could be on Medicaid or not. Medicaid don't cover glasses, and then the only free glasses they give you, they're very cheap and easily broken. As y'all can see, my daughter throws things. If you would like, go to my shorts video. Medicaid don't start covering glasses until they won't even give you a deductible. So until you at least 2 years old. My daughter been wearing glasses since 6 months old, and we have to put the anti scratch, anti blur because how strong her prescription was. So yeah, she's been glasses since 6 months. Her daddy paid all expenses out of pocket. So if you want to believe it or not, I don't give a fuck as long as my daughter is reaping the benefits. So you could be mad and pretend like I'm lying. I'm very honest and transparent. If you can't make the correlation, that's on you. As long as I can. Like I said, I'm not married, but his name ain't on no marriage license with me, but his name is very much attached to hers. That's his first and only child. Why do I need a job to get primary insurance and he has one? He has primary insurance, you idiot. Do you not get that? So like I said, you can be mad all you want to. My daughter is well taken care of. Because when I do date Caribbeans, I don't date the Caribbeans that have me working as a CNA worker, 4 and 5 countless hours while he do security jobs, trying to look down on somebody. That's not my situation. My man took a trade. All right, a trade that he can work on a job and off, and he can legally make money as an independent contractor with his trade. So his daughter, and he didn't have no kids until he was 40 years old. He was 41 when his daughter. Yeah, he was 41 when my daughter was born. His only child. So like I stated, the money he gives me, he knows what I do with the money, but he's a grown man. He knows how other kids. Like I said, he doesn't have to take care of them. My older daughter, father, a Haitian guy, he takes very good care of her. And he was smart enough to marry up because he didn't take a trade or get the education like my Jamaican guy. So he used his looks and married up. But he still works. He keep a job. Don't get me wrong. He keep a job, but it's remedial. I'll just say that. But my daughter ain't suffering. He married her. My daughter was able to get in private school and all that. My son was able to get in private school due to me knowing my research and having networking skills. So my son's been in private school. So it's all about time and placement and having my son with the proper connections. You know what I'm saying? So whatever I can't do for my kids that I didn't work for, I damn sure network. And they got there just like my dad did for me. My dad networked. That's how I was able to get into a lot of spaces and places. I just chose not to pursue it. But that was on me. My kids chose to pursue it. Well, I can switch subject, but they was pissing me off. I'm not trying to piss me. I said it, you know what I'm saying? That part. They jealous of me because I'm telling the facts of their life. And like I said, I'm going to have black unity. They didn't have no problem ganging up on black women in the chat the other day. And no, they don't even care that girl said they eat mud pies. They could think I'm lying, but I want sister to say I'm lying. So I could post them goddamn screenshots. I ain't going to waste my time looking through it because she damn sure ain't talking about me eating no mud pies. Everybody know black people are known for eating sweet potato pies, not pumpkin. Okay? I don't have to afford private school. It's called not marrying, getting a man who's going to provide for his children. It seems like you can't relate. And that's okay. Just say that. Ask how you do it. You better I need you to rephrase your questions. Yeah. So I'm very well aware about how the school system works because that was taught to me. My grandmother was a queen of that. I went to nothing but I didn't go to private school, but I didn't go to like hood schools. I went if you educated, there's why they got those like them other schools. Like I said, every school I went to was a specialized school. They have specialized schools because not everybody's gonna make it into the Mensa program, but that don't mean you just got to go to regular school. There are well in New York City, there's always been that. You know what I'm saying? So there are specializing schools in New York. I went to specialized schools for science in junior high school. The only time I went to a regular public school was in elementary, and my grandma actually didn't want them to skip me in the last grade because she didn't want me to be around older kids than me. You know what I'm saying? For like, because my grandma was a very paranoid person. Like I told you, we got walked to school every day, and I had to wear pigtails into the ninth grade. So I was very protected and provided for my whole life. And my grandmother, they didn't rest on, and most black people don't either because everybody. How do you think everybody know Columbus did discover America? Because America was trying to preach that bullshit for years. Who you think was the one doing the pushback? Black people over here, we push back on every level, and in the school too. Because if it wasn't for black parents, they would still be trying to say Columbus. Columbus. Now, can we make them change the state laws? No, but we push back. And my grandmother and so many other black parents I know of, they did not rest on the school. That's why you will see a lot of incidents where teachers getting their behind with back in the days. They used to be justified because they teaching their kids at school. So now you don't like something my kids said to you, and you one of them elitist black who couldn't get into the private school, but you in the public school, and now you want to try to be elitist to the kids. Those were the teachers that used to get beat up back in the day because they wasn't trying to help the kids. You know, they were way too sensitive, couldn't handle the roast of the little black kids. You know, but like I said, my grandmother never rested on public school laurels. I was always better educated. Every time I wrote a paper, white and think for me, it was always encouraged. When I wrote a paper, I got nothing but top grades because I did my research and I did not pin on the books in the school. Okay, education is there if you want to research it, and it's free. Well, would you like a cookie? Would you like a cookie? Like I said, you can't compare your life to mine, but all I know is I ain't going to your country. I might be. I need to take the test. I need to take that Mensa test. But that's just gonna be. I probably won't take it because that'll be another reason for y'all to be jealous. But I've always had good grades in school. The only time I received low grades was in math. And like I said, I did basic math very well. It was when they started adding the letters into it. But all my other siblings, they to this day excellent at math. My father's a genius at math. It just, that one missed me. But everything else, I always got good grades. I only got bad grades in math and gym ever, and I never got rolled up and none of that stuff. So, like I said, but the point is, I can never go over to where you from. So don't come over here to where I'm at trying to be elitist. Are you Mr. Qualified? Did your kids go in MISPA? Damn it. I have to go to the store. That's what I want to know. You doing all this bragging. But that's the beautiful thing about YouTube. People could be. There's no reason for anybody from Africa or anybody country to feel elitist, except for when people come in your country trying to eat off your plate. Then I could totally understand that. And it's not elitism. It's more like a respect factor. And you should make sure people have respect and boundaries when they come in your house. And you should expect to have respect and boundaries when you come in somebody else's house. Like, it's that simple. It's no argument. It's no debate. Because at the end of the day, you didn't help. You didn't help. You didn't lift a finger in this fight. So you should be very thankful to be able to sit at the table and eat with the people and be happy that they're sharing their food with you. Because they didn't have to, because you didn't help. You got to realize that. You did not help. All these benefits you enjoying, you did not help get them. You don't even know how to get them for yourself. So I just implore people that when they come over here with an elitist attitude, you know what I'm saying? You did not help. Yeah, what data did you think I didn't listen to? Like she was making arguments that had nothing to do with what I was talking about. I was asking, what did Africans do for us? You know what I'm saying? Like how are they helping us? I'm talking about over here. Nobody, like we're at our home. We don't want to have to go to Africa, unless they want to visit. That's fine. But what are Africans doing to help us? Because they sure are coming over here, and we're helping them. So it's not a reciprocal relationship, you know. And like I said, the girl talks. She claims I'm a single mother, but turns out she was a single teen mom. And then she's crying about something that happened in middle school or junior high school, and she's not. That's not more traumatic than somebody getting you pregnant and leaving you. That would traumatize me. But that's just me and my experiences. I guess. Once you become a mother, you get upset because I feel like it's no better father figure than their actual dad. So that would traumatize me, that their dad didn't stay there, and my it may come across to my child like I didn't always make the best decisions with the most important thing in my life. That would traumatize me. But what I'm saying, maybe we're different type of mothers. That's why I'm up here making sure I get with men that can help me pay my son tuition, instead of going online talking about people eating mud pies, talking about people weight, and trying to be elitist from a country that didn't do nothing for me. We're all different, like I stated. But anyway, you guys have a good day, because like I don't know where my other lighter is at, and I may have to go to the store. Thank you all. Chef kisses. Hopefully you got a better understanding, and then a better clear vision of who house you in, and did you help build it. And if you didn't help build it, you cannot come at the builders that way. And we all know Black women have been holding down the Black community forever. Forever. So keep that in mind wherever you are. Yeah, I understand that she's an uppity. There are many African men who agree, but they are afraid to go against other centuries of oppression and ruin their own self-esteem as a whole. But I told y'all, Khalid Muhammad is my spiritual father. I got to do what I got to do. I got to say what I got to say. You know what I'm saying? You can't it ain't in everybody, but it damn sure is embedded in me. So I'm a always say what I got to say. And thankfully I got a man that's gonna give me 1K a week. I ain't gonna miss nothing. So lady y'all, and he Jamaican. Look at God. I'll see y'all later. Chef kisses.